I caved. I'm sorry I caved, but after using the OnePlus 6 for the past 6 months, I really wanted a smaller device and really see how iOS has evolved since my iPhone 7 days. And I'm going to be straight, it's been a mixed bag with 10s, maybe because my own expectations were higher than reality. So in this video I want to share all my ups and downs with the most expensive smartphone I have ever bought. It truly is the dark side. I have asked a few others to join on this conversation to share their daily experience with the 10 or the 10s. Should be fun. Optimize your desk space with Tesora's new Gram Spectrum TKL keyboard with a compact steel frame and low-profile keycaps, removable cable, and sweet illumination. Plus your choice of Tesora's agile blue or red switches to satisfy those fingers. See if the Gram Spectrum TKL keyboard's for you. Links below. So I'm going to lay all my cards on the table right away. So I love the size for everyday carry. One-hand reachability is excellent. There's enough room for two-thumb typing. There's still enough display for entertainment and comfortable sized font, and many would agree.
I love the form factor. The form factor of the iPhone 10 just feels perfect. There's a ton of screen and a very small amount of body there, so it just feels like it's made for your hand.
I totally agree with David. The all-screen body is gorgeous with uniform bezels, ignoring the notch of course, compared to many physical inconsistencies of curves or notches or bezels on many Android smartphones. Although with the case, it is still quite chunky, especially compared to my similarly sized iPhone 7. The XS Max, the larger variant, would be just too big for me, but let's hear what Judner has to say.
Hey guys, it's your average consumer here, and I've been using the iPhone XS Max since it was released. And I gotta say, the thing that I like most about it is the fact that it has this nice large display. That was actually a con for me in the beginning. Getting used to it was really hard. And while having that nice, big, beautiful display is absolutely a benefit, there can also be some drawbacks with that, since some developers haven't updated their apps to work with a new big screen. And with that, you do get some of your content cut off with a notch. Some developers have been treating it since it first got released, but there are still some out there who haven't. And it just gets kind of annoying.
And speaking of annoying, it is just way too easy to scratch the display and the back as well. Many users are complaining about micro scratches that appear with just gentle use, so you're almost forced into using a phone case and a screen protector to preserve its condition and therefore value, if you're planning on selling this thing down the line. And that's probably a smart choice for a little extra grip when you hold it, and if you like some music in the shower so the phone won't slip from an uneven surface. Although you could bring this into a shower because of the IP68 water resistance, but why would you? Now the speaker quality is excellent, but the cellular and Wi-Fi issues are still present, with Apple using Intel chips instead of Qualcomm, so my Wi-Fi range on the OnePlus 6 is actually better, and many are reporting LTE and Wi-Fi connectivity slowdowns, where the 10, the previous version of the iPhone, is faster with LTE and Wi-Fi versus the XS. And that's kind of a bummer, this being Apple's flagship.
Matthew Monas here, and thank you so much, Hardware Canucks, for having me on. I really don't have too many iOS related issues, but my main issue with the iPhone XS is definitely connectivity problems. I'll be chatting it up with Eber, we'll be talking about Dyson vacuums, and I'll look at my bars, and I'll have like 1 to 2 bars compared to 4 or 5 on my Android device. So that's one specific bug that still needs to be fixed.
On top of that, I had to do a factory reset just in the first week of using this device because I would still get full bars on my data connectivity and Wi-Fi, but no connection was going through at all. I had to reset the antennas by going into airplane mode. I was getting constant stuttering with just like simple animations. I would get bugs all over the place where the phone would just freeze. The microphone on the earbuds would not be working, so nobody could hear me. Also, a little bit of charge gate was happening as well, where the phone would not actually start charging when it was plugged in. It was annoying. As expected, most of these have been slowly patched out with the latest iOS updates, but I generally questioned my decision to get the XS because of all these unpleasant shortcomings. But as an upgrade cycle, for me it made sense since I'm coming from the iPhone 7, but for newer iPhone users, it doesn't really make much sense.
Hey, so I guess the reason why I didn't upgrade to the iPhone XS this year, coming from the 10, is mostly price. Like, it's just a very expensive phone. The iPhones are always expensive. But I felt like the phone didn't give a noticeably different experience from the original iPhone 10. Like, everything's basically the same except for the camera. There's a few things that have changed, obviously, but the actual usability of the phone remains exactly the same between the two for my personal usage case. Now, I will say though that if camera is like super important to you, for me it isn't, but if it is, XS kind of makes sense if you're coming from a 10, like you know what I mean? But for most people, iPhone 10.
What's up guys, I'm Random Frank P, and I'm still using my iPhone 10. Nothing that I saw really from the XR or the XS really made it worthy for me of an upgrade, and this still works just fine. It's fast, it's smooth, no complaints on my end, and if I'm gonna wanna drop $1,000 on a new phone upgrade, I'm gonna wanna be blown away. But what I did do, however, though, to kind of combat that was I picked up the new 11-inch iPad Pro. This is more my style anyway. I'm not really a big mobile user as it is. So yeah, I'm still content with my iPhone 10.
Now there are plenty of things that I love that are not followed by a negative. So the vibration motor in here is better than anything else I've used. You'll feel it in your pants, I guarantee it. Face ID, since day one it's been reliable, but with some speed variation. Sometimes it's instantaneous and other times you can see the Face ID page. You can disable the require attention feature so it can unlock without you needing to look at your phone directly, and incoming notifications will play at lower volume if you are looking at your phone, which is cool. And it's great for app purchases and password managers. It just makes life much easier without needing to remember things. You know, just look at the phone and be good. The screen is amazing and I love True Tone, so it calibrates the temperature of the screen based on ambient lighting for a more pleasant viewing experience. It's true that the notch is huge during media playback, but 2:1 aspect ratio videos are becoming more popular to maximize that viewing area without spilling over the notch. Gesture navigation is pleasant and natural to use. I don't miss the on-screen buttons and all of my interactions just feel fluid. I love the camera for the most natural color reproduction with amazing highlight recovery and slightly boosted shadows because of the new HDR processing, and I've really enjoyed the 2x zoom for some cool compositions that I find myself using constantly. And the portrait mode to the most part has this clean cutout of the subject with naturally simulated bokeh, although sometimes it's a miss and you have to dial back the f-stop to save the shot. I actually prefer the selfie portrait mode too, that delivers a more pleasing image. Now the last bit of my experience with the XS has to revolve around iOS, and it's weird how we've all assumed this to be like a more stable ecosystem, because for the first 2 weeks it sure was not the case. We've all heard that apps are better optimized for iPhones, and Google even makes their apps first on iOS, but YouTube Studio app, an app that I use on a daily basis to respond to comments, was lagging so much. And it was like that for a really long time until the latest iOS update. It is developer specific, I know, but still quite annoying. It has been patched out in the latest updates, and this is the only instance of the app kind of lagging behind, whereas everything else, Instagram, Twitter, and all the apps that I use on a daily basis are running fluid. Now, lack of customization aside, you know, iOS is locked down like that, so we can't really complain, but I haven't found any new 3D touch functionality. So it's mainly pointless except for flashlight intensity, disabling True Tone, for example, and keyboard navigation. Widget selection is still incredibly limiting. For example, I'd love a steps counter instead of who's viewed my profile. You still cannot reassign the 2 shortcuts on the lock screen. The flashlight is handy, I'll give them that, but the camera is pointless since you can already swipe to the right to access the camera. At least the notification system has been fixed with grouping of items and easy navigation from the notification screen, so my productivity with the XS is slowly approaching that of Android phones. And while the XS charges like a snail, unless you give Apple more money, I've been very happy with battery life, reaching almost 6 hours of on-screen time on a heavy day. Wireless charging is of course present, and so should your desire for a wireless pair of headphones. It's just something we have to accept or buy the missing dongle. And so my entire XS experience has been improving. You know, it was a rocky start in the beginning, but it has gotten better with updates. Contrast that to my Android experience where it's kind of the opposite. Everything's kind of smooth sailing, and over time the experience deteriorates. And I feel like it's not about finding an absolute winner between iPhone or any Android smartphone, but looking at which side you can settle on that'll satisfy more of your own expectations. And right now the iPhone XS is my perfect size phone with my perfect camera with iOS limitations that I'll just have to accept. Alright guys, so that is my review of the iPhone XS. Let me know if you recently switched sides and what's your experience been like. I'm Dmitry, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out this other relevant content, and we'll see you in the next video. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, will I message you later?